Welcome. Hi, I'm Geoff Gilmore with Tribeca Enterprises, and very, very pleased to welcome you to this evening's, let me call it special premiere of Beyond Two Souls, the first official selection of a game in a film festival, first official Sony PlayStation in our festival, and we're really excited about this. This is a real event for us. We've been talking all week long about innovation in the new world of storytelling, about things ranging from our program of Storyscapes, which is dealing with transmedia and a whole range of interactive versus immersive kind of storytelling. What Paul Verhoeven did with Tricked, which was whole another venture in crowdsourced narrative, and then what we have tonight, which is really something very, very special. I think that the world of film, which has always been this completely immersive world, is still immersive and in some ways deepening with the idea of 3D in different ways. The world of gaming, which has always been an interactive world, has always been at contradictions, at odds, at collision between these two. And perhaps tonight we'll see one of the great examples of what someone who's truly exceptional, an artist, a game maker, and I dare say a storyteller with David Cage.
Thank you. It's a great honor for me to be here with you tonight at the Tribeca Film Festival to present you for the very first time 35 minutes of the game we currently work on called Beyond. Beyond is going to be released in October later this year, and it's going to be exclusive on PlayStation 3. It's a different type of games. It's a game where you don't shoot, when you don't jump, where you don't drive cars. It's a game about storytelling. It's a game about emotion. It's a game about characters. The whole idea behind the game is to put you in the shoes of the main protagonist and let you make decisions, let you make choices that will have consequences on the plot. So you decide what you want to do, where you want to go, what you want to say, and the story changes accordingly. So this is really the challenge we gave ourselves, starting with Heavy Rain, my previous game, and now with Beyond. So what is Beyond about? Beyond is the story of this young girl called Jodie Holmes. And since the day she was born, Jodie Holmes has a link with an invisible entity. She doesn't know exactly what it is, but she calls it Aiden. She doesn't know why. And this thing is always around her somewhere. There is like a cord, there is a link, a physical link between them. This thing is always there. She's the only one who can see it, who can hear it. And she will have to learn how to live with this thing. And this thing can be very nice, it can be very protective, but it can also be very aggressive, very violent, very possessive, very jealous. So Beyond is the story of Jodie Holmes with this entity through 15 years of her life. And we will see Jodie Holmes when she's a little girl, when she's a teenager, when she is an adult. And we will see how she learns how to live with this thing, how she grows, how she changes through the years, how she learns to accept herself as being different. But Beyond is also about death. It's also about what's on the other side. And as Aiden lives between two worlds, she will discover more and more about the afterlife and the other side. So everything you're going to see tonight is generated by a computer. So all these images, they don't exist. The only thing that existed were actors. So we scanned the face and the body of real actors. We recorded their movements, their body moves, their facial animations, their voice, and we used that in the context of the story to create something that doesn't exist, to create emotion, to create this story, to create immersion in a world. So it's similar and different to something like Avatar. Avatar is also generated by a computer. But the difference is that Avatar is linear. It is one piece that you watch and you can't change anything to what happens. It looks fantastic, but it's linear and you're passive watching it. Here in Beyond, The visuals may not look as good as Avatar, to be honest with you, but it's truly interactive. You can decide what you want to do. You make your own story, and you become the actor, but also the writer and the director of the experience. And this is an experience that only interactivity can offer. So tonight is going to be really some kind of experiment, and thank you for being here and being a part of this experiment, because what you're going to see was not intended to be projected to an audience in a theater. It was supposed to be played. So what you will see is really the walkthrough of a player, and all the choices that you will see. All this is just one version of the scene. It's just one possibility amongst many, many other ways of playing this scene. But you will see that as we let the player play and make his choices, he tells his own story and he creates his own emotions. So the scene you're going to see is called Homeless in a nutshell. Jodie is chased by all police forces in the country for different reasons that I'm not going to explain. But she is alone. She doesn't have parents, she doesn't have friends, she doesn't have family. She has no place to go to, she has no money, and she lives in the street for weeks. So you will see what happens to her. Before I let you watch this piece, I would like to thank the Tribeca Film Festival for this fantastic opportunity. So thank you so much for having us tonight. I work on creating bridges between cinema and games for 16 years, and our presence here tonight shows that it's possible. So thank you very much, and you'll tell us what you think. Have a good evening.
I'm very, very grateful to Sony PlayStation and Quantic Dream for allowing us to do this. This really is a special world premiere. The panel afterwards will be led by someone who I've grown enormously to respect in the world of gaming. Harold Goldberg is an award-winning journalist, writer, critic, who's going to run our panel, and thank God we finally have someone on stage who knows of what he talks about instead of having me do it. And we're very happy to have with us, as you'll see, Ellen Page and others have participated with this. So thank you all for coming. We'll see you shortly. Bye-bye.
Jodie, where are you?
Turn back. They're all around me.
Good God, Jodie, what's happening?
I'm tired. I'm so tired. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Tell me where you are. I'll come right now. Jody! Jody!
Who's there?
You're losing my mind. Come on, girl. Drink it. Hey. I was beginning to think you'd never wake up.
Where am I?
You're in my place, kid. Not very luxurious, but quiet. Found you in the streets a few days ago. You were in pretty bad shape.
You've been taking care of me?
Ah, come on, somebody had to. I couldn't leave you lying there, dying like a dog in the street. Understand. What's your name?
Jody.
Welcome back to the land of living, Jody. Nice to have some company every once in a while. Coffee? Strong? Tastes like shit, but hold you up against the cold. Careful, it's hot. How long have you been on the streets, kid?
A few weeks? Something like that.
About 3 years for me. I don't know how many times I thought I was going to snuff it. Just go completely nuts. But I guess you can get used to anything. Even live with nothing. You want to run? Parents? Crazy boyfriend, something like that?
I guess so. Running away from me.
Ain't we all, kid? Ain't we all? Ain't a problem. You never can run far enough to forget exactly who you are. You got someplace to go? Family? Friends? Somebody missing you?
You know? Yeah, I guess there is someone, but I don't want to see him now. I'm not like this.
You can stay here if you like. I ain't got much to share, but whatever I got's yours.
Thanks. No food. My life is a fucking disaster. I'm tired of running. I gave up. You hear me? I give up.
We got nothing left to eat. Gotta do something about it. You want to see how things work around here?
Sure.
We need to make about $5, and that's for something hot. I will try here. Hopefully the cold will make people feel more generous.
How long does it take to get $5?
I don't know. It depends on people's good grace. It could take a couple hours. It could take a week.
You understand? I don't think it makes sense both of us being in the same place. I'm gonna go try over there.
Good luck, kid.
Hey, baby. You looking for a few extra dollars? Maybe I can help you out.
You want to help me?
Well, I figure I'll do you a favor. You do me a favor. $10 says you come around the back with me.
I'm not that desperate, asshole. You can take your $10 and stick it. Is that your guitar?
Yep. Just about froze my fingers off trying to play it before. You want to try? Be my guest.
Sorry eyes, they cut through the bone, make it hard to leave you alone. They leave you here, wearing your wounds, waving your gun. Somebody new, oh, baby, you're lost. Baby, you're lost. Baby, you're a lost cause. Tired of fighting, yeah. Tired of fighting. Fighting for a lost cause.
Wow.
How's it going?
Not great. You?
Holy shit. Jody, where did you get all that cash?
There was a guy with a guitar, and I play guitar. I mean, I made a few bucks.
Oh, wow, that's something. That's really something. Stay right here. I'm going to go get us some food.
What you got there, old Kadeem? You win the lottery, lucky son of a bitch?
I don't want any trouble.
Trouble? Trouble? That is disrespectful, old man. We look like trouble, guys. Yeah, I'm on it, man. Yeah, so got us folded right up.
Back off and you won't get hurt.
Looky here. Looks like Plum's got a girlfriend. Oh, man. Let's demonstrate how we deal with skanky, low-life bitches.
How did you do that?
I learned how to fight in the army.
Yeah, but there was 4 of them. Just one of you?
4 assholes. I did not know how to fight. Let's get out of here before they come back.
All right. Yourself, Jody. Hope you like tuna, 'cause that's all there is.
What happened to you, Stan?
4 punks jumped me. Didn't stand a chance. Lucky to make it back.
Did you know those guys?
Yeah, I've seen them before. Yeah, those kids come down here looking for a one-way fight. They got them phones with the cameras, and I guess they like to show off. Big men with their friends.
Crazy motherfuckers. They got me once. Still haven't recovered.
How long have you been here?
Arrived on the bridge about, 6 months ago. Up to the Walter. Jimmy showed up. Susie's been here, what, like 3 weeks?
When is your baby due?
Next month.
She hasn't been kicking for days. I hope she's all right.
Boyfriend used to beat her up.
You didn't want a baby. You probably would have killed her. How about you, Jody? You haven't said much about yourself. How did you end up on the street?
Some things that I'm not proud of. Until I realized I was being used. I know that this is going to sound really strange, but I'm different.
You said you were different, Jody. In what way?
I was born with a gift. Or what they call the gift. It was really a curse. It's ruined my life. Made me the person that I am today. Freak. Mistake. Someone I hate.
Looks like Jimmy ain't the only one with a drug problem.
Tuesday, do you want to know how your baby is? Give me your hands. Baby. Can you see the baby? Don't worry about your baby. Everything's all right. No. I know. I saw her.
I'm going to find a drink with my name on it.
Thanks for the food, guys. I gotta go lie down.
Good night, everybody. Sleep well.
Tuesday? Is it?
She's got contractions.
We need an ambulance. We need a whole goddamn hospital.
No hospital. They'll take my baby. No one's gonna take my baby.
Jesus Christ, girl. We ain't got nothing here. Ain't got as much as a blanket, hot water. We got nothing.
I don't want my baby to die.
Hold on. Calm down. Find a way. All right, Jimmy. Down the road always is this old abandoned building. Figure out a way inside. On my way, go. Don't do your shit down. You stay here with Tuesday, okay? Jody, come on. We gotta go get everything we need. Now, you girl, don't be having no baby till we get back, all right?
I'm trying, but you better damn well hurry. What are we gonna do? Do you know a doctor?
No. Besides, we don't have any money to pay for it anyway.
So what are we gonna do?
Listen. I want this baby to have a chance. You have a tiny little chance in this big fucked up world. I want it to be warm and have diapers and a bottle and decent clothes like any other human being. I won't let it be born in the trash under a bridge. I won't.
Okay, so what's your plan?
I don't have one. But we'll figure it out. Come on. There's all we need in there. We just gotta get in. God damn it! There must be a way. There must be a fucking way.
Leave it to me.
Huh? Why? What are you gonna do?
Just trust me. There must be a switch for the security gate somewhere. What is that? It feels like we missed something. Alarm off. Save us some trouble later.
Damn
How the hell did you do that?
No time to explain. Let's just take what we need and get out of here.
I took everything I could.
Let's get the hell out of here.
Oh, there you are. Hurry. Our water broke.
Let's get into the building I told you about.
Yeah, Walter's there with her. Come on, we need to hurry. It's this way.
Just in time, guys. Seems like it's going to be any minute now.
Now what? Anybody know what to do?
Leave! Except Jody. I just want Jody.
You know that I've never done anything like this before.
Well, me neither. I just didn't want those guys standing around staring at me when I'm wrecked in pain.
I'll just clean up this old mattress. Okay, heat. Heat, we need heat. Let me just help you get those off.
It's not been easy so far, babe. But we're gonna make it. Me and you.
I'll go get the others.
Wow. It's so tiny.
It's a girl. Her name's Zoe.
Shit, man. She's goddamn amazing.
Hey, watch your language, Walter. She understands everything you say.
She's more than amazing. She's magnificent.
I couldn't have done it without you guys. And Jody.
Walter's right. You're a miracle, Jody. Our miracle.
Come on.
See, wake up.
What the? Oh, God.
Where are the others?
Walter's on this floor, Jimmy, and Tuesday and Zoe are upstairs.
Get out of here. I'll go get them.
No, I'll come with you.
No, I'm going alone. I said get out of here. I didn't blast the door.
Tuesday and the baby, they're upstairs. We gotta save them before the whole place burns down.
my God, you're alive. What?
I don't know how you did that, but it was incredible.
Zoe. Oh, Zoe. Good. She's good.
How did the damn fire start?
Spectacular, huh, guy? A little gas and a lighter, and the roaches pour out of the nest. I can hate happy endings. So I'll be seeing you again, bitch.
Hey, leave her alone.
Calm down, cockroaches. What you hero now, are you? Did you get it, Ed?
Yeah, man, it's in the can.
All right, come on, man, let's go.
Bastards!
She's not breathing. She's not breathing.
Oh, my God.
Oxygen! We need oxygen! Shit!
Thank you. Thanks. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. So you saw 35 minutes in the life of Jodie Holmes. The full game is about 10 hours long. So we had to pick up this 35 minutes that kind of made sense. They had a beginning, a middle, and end that people could understand. But we would like to show you, and this is exclusive, it's the first time we show it in public, the new trailer that will give you an idea of the scope of the game and everything we put in there. So here we go. This is the new trailer for Tribeca.
Hello? Jodie, where are you?
Tribeca.
Good God, Jodie, what's happening?
I'm tired. I'm so tired.
Tell me where you are. I'll come right now, Jodie. Jodie!
I don't think I'm gonna make it. Ever since I was born, I've been linked to an entity.
Hey.
Jodie? You know, sometimes adults imagine things too.
What's your name?
Jodie.
Welcome back to the land of living, Jodie.
His name is Aiden, and he's always with me.
What did you do to that boy? Susan, this is going to stop before we end up crazy or dead.
Please don't leave me here.
You're a monster! You hear me? A monster! It's over, Jodie. It's over.
Now concentrate, Jodie.
Some things that I'm not proud of. You lied to me. You used me to do your dirty work. Tell them to leave me the fuck alone. Because next time, I'll kill everyone.
And we are going to welcome to the stage Harold Goldberg, David Cage, Ellen Page, Kadeem Hardison, and Eric Winter.
All right. Well, that was pretty awesome. I just want to make sure we do all this in the right amount of time. But I'm Harold Goldberg, and man, I can't wait to get this panel party started. It's going to be fun. So, I wrote a couple of years ago a narrative history of video games called All Your Base Are Belong to Us, how 50 years of video games conquered pop culture. And it was the subject of 200 interviews, and I think David is in there as well. And so on the panel, we obviously have some illustrious folks indeed to talk about Beyond Two Souls. And next to me is Ellen Page, who won our hearts as the Take No BS teen in Juno, for which she was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Actress. And we know her from Inception and other fine films, and we'll soon see her with Alexander Skarsgård and Patricia Clarkson in the terrorism drama The East. And then there's David Cage, the story-loving CEO and founder of Quantic Dream. The last game from his studio in Paris was Heavy Rain, dark an awesome, dark, creepy, frightening game about murder and serial killers. And we first met Kadeem Hardison as Dwayne Wayne in A Different World. We've seen him in everything from House to Parenthood, and he's directed and starred in a new film called The Dark Party, and boy, does he love games.
Yes.
Absolutely. And we've seen Eric Winter in everything from The Mentalist to Good Christian Bitches. And I'm so glad you were in there so I could say that, say Good Christian Bitches. We'll see him in Fire with Fire with Bruce Willis and Rosario Dawson very soon. And what intrigued Geoff Gilmore and me when we started to talk about games at the festival is story. We always get together and talk story for a fairly long time, and then we talk games for a while. And last month I wrote a long feature for the New York Times about BioShock Infinite, and I said that certain games, including David's games, are getting far better when it comes to a deep narrative that's also cinematic. And so, David, we just saw some very dramatic dialogue and moving scenes that certainly induced empathy from me. In your Paris office, I think there are signs that speak about the importance of feeling and empathy when playing the game and when working on the game. So, how important is it for us to care about Jodie Holmes, Alan's character?
Oh, it's very important. It's the heart of the game. It's really the story of her life. It's a journey in someone's life. And we'll see how when she's, as I said, when she's a kid, at different moments, happy and sad in her life. And yeah, just be with her and share her life. It's very important, I think, to storytelling in games. We saw that with Heavy Rain, because in Heavy Rain, usually the figure that we have in the industry for people starting a game and finishing it is about 20%. So it's only 20% of the people starting a game who see the end of it. But for Heavy Rain, for example, that was really story-driven, this figure was 75%. So because people wanted to see the end, they wanted to know what would happen next, and all this was very important. So storytelling, I think it's something absolutely key interactivity.
And Ellen, what made you want to play the role of Jodie Holmes? Was part of it the story that you?
Absolutely. I mean, when it first came as, an opportunity from David and Guillaume and everyone at Quantic Dream, I didn't know how to wrap my head around it. I was like, what does it mean to be in a video game? I had no concept. I hadn't really even played video games in like 10 years. I sort of stopped at like Crash Bandicoot. So, great game. And then it, completely intrigued me. And then I got Heavy Rain and was just completely blown away. I mean, I had such limited gaming experience in that time that, like, the technology blew me away. And then to see what was happening, this combination of, interactive gameplay with a cinematic scope of narrative, it was fascinating. And then to sit down with David and have him explain to me this female protagonist and this journey that she goes on, I just was completely blown away and just had gratitude for alone creating a character like that. And then to have the opportunity to do that and have an experience like this, which is just like unlike anything I've done, just because of motion capture and shooting a 2,000-page script, etc. It was amazing.
Yeah, and we'll get into it. But it is an awesome kind of independent-minded character.
Absolutely.
We've packed this panel with clips, and the first one we want to show features Ellen singing, and I actually, when I saw it in Paris, I missed it up. I didn't quite shed a tear because but I missed it up, and it reminded me of back in the day on the Lower East Side when a lot of my friends were sitting on the street singing songs, and everyone thought they would be famous one day, and it just kind of got me. So we have that clip, and if we could just show it, because it shows a bit about the game-making technology as well. Ellen with her guitar. Mm-hmm. See, David, you want to talk a lot? I hate to talk over it because I really love.
Sorry, I have to talk over it. But first of all, it's my guitar. Okay, let's make that clear.
I want that guitar.
And it's something that was totally incidental, actually, because we were working with Ellen, and I just had my guitar there, and then started singing, and just asked, hey, wait a minute, I mean, do you think you could do it in motion capture? And Ellen didn't hesitate 1 second. She said, yeah, let's go, let's do it. It was done pretty much in one take. So that's for the little story. But we see in the background, this is the motion capture set. It's solely empty, as you can see. You see these little markers on the face of Ellen and the fingers and on the body. This is performance capture. We capture the movements of these little shiny balls, and this is how we get the animation.
And that song is, whose song is that?
Beck.
That's a Beck song. That's right. Okay.
That's my song.
I want to give you credit on it.
For all of you.
But it's a touching scene, and you make some very needed money for singing. Can you tell us some more about some of the scenes that you were in that you particularly said, boy, this might be hard to do, or this, I really enjoyed doing this part of it. Without, or can we talk about that without giving anything?
Yeah, I won't give it away.
Yeah.
Just what was crazy about this? Honestly, it felt like the scope of the story is so huge, as you can. That was the first time I've seen that new trailer, and I was just like, damn, that really does sort of illustrate the scope of, to the extent of situations that Jodie is in, and all the things that she goes through. And to be honest, every day it was so emotional and so intense. Like, it's funny to first, like, in LA, you have the scripts, like, you don't really know what you're walking into, and it was absolutely like the most challenging acting job. I mean, because it's just every day you have, you're doing 30 plus pages, and it's nonstop, and a lot of it is really, really emotionally intense and grueling. And so I think, the moments of sort of having to get there quickly and all of that was really challenging, but a great exercise. Like, when would you have that opportunity as an actor to sort of have it just be sort of relentless?
It's kind of great rainbow of emotions. Yeah. And well, I think we can move from that into kind of asking what questions the actors had of David during the process. So maybe you can go first, and then we'll go with Kadeem and Eric.
Yeah, I think the most, because the story is, so long, and you have all these different chapters and different environments that she's in, it was often a matter of just sort of, kind of figuring out exactly what moment we were in, what had just happened, and also, your literal physical environment that you're in. But David was amazing because he was so sort of self-effacing about working with actors and things, and I would go in to shoot stuff and be like, oh my God, I have like 2 seconds to like get into this sort of state or emotional state. I remember one time there's a specific time, and he just so got like, had written this character so beautifully and so deeply understood and connected to her that when we would talk about it, I would just be so moved by him. I mean, he was a fantastic director.
And Kadeem?
I'm sorry, I get captivated by her. What was it?
Exactly. What were some of the questions you had? I mean, and I know you, as a gamer, played Heavy Rain. But what were some of the questions you had for David as you were coming on set?
I didn't have many questions. I was beyond thrilled to be invited to play with her and him and Willem. I just wanted to know how long could I play. I just wanted to do more. I wanted to do another character. I wanted to be Jody. I wanted to do as much as I could. And I think my first day might have been a little rough. I might have been a little overwhelmed, and they sent me upstairs to work on my lines because I was just so excited. Sure. And we'd have to do this thing every morning when we get there to set the cameras and everything. We'd have to stand still, and we'd have to do certain movements. And every morning, without fail, they said, Kadeem, stop smiling. Because I would just be like, but you'd have to have a neutral face, and then you'd have to do certain movements to kind of set the camera so that they would know this is him straight, and then we can pick up the rest. So my whole thing was just relax. Yeah, I just... yeah.
And Eric?
When I first got the material, I never even was able to get an entire script because of confidentiality reasons and reading everything. So when David and I sat down and met, a lot of it involved him because he has it so well in his brain about each character and how deep each character goes that he was really informative to give us just so much history involving these characters. And then getting there, once I wrapped my head around my own character, then it was mind-blowing what we walked into. This 20 by 20 square, and the props made of cereal boxes and wood. I mean, everything was. It was like a kid trying to play. Yeah, it takes you back to the purest form of acting. It was really wild. Yeah. And he walked us through the process like a champ and really guided us. And I felt like we all had a lot of fun together and some good chemistry. So it made it that much easier.
But David, we kind of want to make clear that while this story is very deep, the game aspect is fairly deep as well, and I wondered if you could talk about some of the things you do in the game.
Yeah, I mean, we were not shooting a film; we were shooting a game, and it's very different in essence. especially because you need to break down every single scene, every single moment into different possibilities, different branches, different possible actions. So, for example, when you shoot a dialogue in a film, you have the dialogue and you record it and that's it. But here we needed to record the fact that Jodie Holmes could say, yeah, of course I want to do this, and then no way, and then maybe, I don't know. To all the possibilities that the player will have, we needed to record them. And characters, and Ellen in particular, had to be convincing. Whether she was saying yes, no, and maybe, we wanted her to be consistent with the characterization, with the character, with the moment. And that was a massive challenge for her. And every single action was broken down to different, very small pieces, so the player can really play them and play one of them, a part of them, and make his choices. So it's quite technical as a shooting, but we try to make this quite invisible to actors so they don't notice too much all the technique behind it, otherwise they would get lost in it. And we got lost in it, to be honest.
Well, we have yet another clip, and I think game enthusiasts know a lot about motion capture technology, but not everyone does. But it's a technology that allows for almost filmic facial quality and subtle expression in games. And to do it, everyone, as we've seen, kind of dresses up in black and has dots all over their faces, makes them look a little like aliens. So we can roll the clip, and you can see a bit about how the actors work together with this technology.
My place, kid. Not very luxurious, but quiet.
She's goddamn amazing.
Hey, watch your language, Walter. She understands everything you say.
She's more than amazing. She's magnificent. Well, I was on the bridge about, 6 months ago. Bumped into Walter. Jimmy showed up. He's just been here, what, like 3 weeks?
Are you okay?
I'm cold. I'm so fucking cold.
Drugs.
How about you, Jodie? You haven't said much about yourself. How did you end up on the street?
Some things that I'm not proud of. Until I realized I was being used. I know that this is going to sound really strange, but I'm different.
So what's cool about that was when you were lying there, the three people around you reminded me of like the Wizard of Oz and Dorothy a little bit. But I know Kadeem chimed in on this, but it's got to be weird on a first date to have all those things on your face. And I just wonder if you could talk about that. I mean, obviously you guys are total pros, but was it a weird feeling the first time that
Yeah, because, I mean, it's, how many? 90 on the face.
90?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then they have to stick each one into your face all around. And, we got to love those people.
You have to love them.
Yeah, right up in your mouth.
Yeah.
Sticking, making sure each one, and sometimes, want to come off, and they got to stop the world, search the floor, get that one and stick it back in place, and then we can go on.
But Ellen, was it distracting at all the first day or so with that stuff on your face?
I mean, at first, yeah, it's because you can't, you can't like physically touch your face, or if something's emotional and you're crying, and then they come on and you have to like sort of break everything up to come and make sure. But other than that, I kind of really got used to it. And when you shoot a movie, you have to do like makeup and hair in the morning.
Right.
And this was kind of nice because you come in, you put on that thing, you put on your little suit, and you're done. And So I definitely, that sort of actually all faded away pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, the first day when you've never done motion capture before, it's unusual.
Yeah. Same with you, Eric.
Yeah, 100%. And like she said, after a while, the dots start to fade away, and it just becomes part of you. I think wardrobe, or the sense of wardrobe, started to become the most confusing part about it. Like when you put a jacket on, it would just be two ropes, and you get caught up in the rope.
Yeah.
Take the jacket off, and your arms like this, and that's a heavy ski jacket. And you have to realize that that's what we're working with. So yeah, you have to believe all those things that you're doing so that it, translates into what you saw.
But what was really funny was to see that all actors had pretty much the same reaction. On the first day, they were completely lost because the set is empty and they feel they look silly in this motion capture suit and markers all over the place. And they ask, "Where is the camera?" Well, there is no camera. There are camera 360 degrees around you, so you don't need to look at something in particular. Well, what about the lighting? Well, there's no lighting. And what about the marks on the floor? There's no mark on the floor. So on the first day, they're like, "What am I doing here, by the way?"
Right.
And on the second day, they all had the same reaction, is, "Wait a minute, that means I'm free. I mean, no one is asking me to look in this direction, to be careful about the light, or to do this or to do that. I can just act with other actors and just focus on my script and my role." So they realize how free they are compared to a film sometimes.
Yeah.
I just need also to explain very quickly where we come from before we reach this moment. The technology of games, what we were used to do in the past was to shoot the voice in a sound booth with facial animation, then go on a motion capture stage, and then record the body animation while we were playing the audio to get body movements on the dialogues. But it was two different takes. You had to reimagine the body movements based on the dialogues that you were listening. And of course, the problem of that was that the performance was split in two. You lost all the body expressions, all the subtleties of all the body language was lost in this process. And this is how we did Heavy Rain. And most of the time, it's one actor at a time. So that means that if you have a dialogue between two actors, you will shoot one first and then the other one. So they don't look at each other, they don't play together, it's two separate takes. Here for Beyond, it was a complete change because first of all, we recorded everything at the same time. Facial animation, body animation, audio, and we had up to 6 or 7 actors on set at the same time. And it allowed to have performances like this with actors really performing together.
It's got to be far more freeing to do that. We have one more clip, and it shows Ellen at her most down and out in a very dire situation. And as a gamer, as you play, you're kind of on this roller coaster ride with Jodie Holmes, and it does get very dark. And David Foster Wallace wrote a short story about suicide called Oblivion, and I get some of those same feelings here. So let's watch that clip.
Jodie, where are you?
Turn back. They're all around me.
Good God, Jodie, what's happening?
I'm tired. I'm so tired. I don't think I'm going to make it.
Tell me where you are. I'll come right now, Jodie. Jodie!
I've been running for weeks. For what? I've no home, no money, no food. My life is a fucking disaster. I'm tired of running. I give up. Do you hear me? I give up.
We got nothing left to eat. Gotta do something about it. You want to see how things work around here?
Sure.
I mean, I think we could have talked over that, but I really kind of personally wanted to see that again. So, I mean, this is your kind of normal journalist to actor question, but was that a very difficult scene for you? What we just saw.
Oh, to shoot?
Yeah.
I mean, it's sad.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
I mean, it's sad to, yeah. I mean, it's amazing how, it's funny even just watching her when we watched the trailer, I felt so, because I think, you know, that's, what you've seen is just like such a small part of such an, you know, really extensive, intense journey that this girl goes through. So shooting it was extremely emotional, and I felt really like, you know, it might sound cheesy, but connected to her and the things she was going through, and especially in the moment where she's that desperate, and so. But,
yeah. And David, you said you told me that there was a moment during the making of this where you felt like a director for the first time. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it's a moment where it was the end of a very long day with Ellen, and she had a scene where that was really emotional, and she gave a great performance, but I wanted more, and so I asked the crew to leave the set, and we stayed together and we talked for 20 minutes or 30 minutes together, just sitting on the floor and talking about the character and talking about different things. And at one point, Ellen stood up and she said, "Okay, I'm ready, and let's shoot." And everybody came back and we shot. It was for me, it's one of the best takes of the entire game. And for the first time, I got the feeling that I was useful to something on set, and that I did my job as a director.
Yeah.
Now, working with Ellen has been amazing, and with these chaps.
Yeah.
And with them, of course. But Ellen has done an amazing job because she had many of these very emotional and challenging scenes, and we were jumping very quickly from one emotional state to another. And doing this is very challenging. It's just been fantastic.
David, can you talk for a minute? We mentioned Willem Dafoe, and can you talk for a minute about his role, and also a bit about some of the gameplay mechanics that you use to control him?
So we don't control Willem Dafoe. Willem Dafoe is a scientist who meets Jodie when she's 8, and he becomes like a second father to her.
Okay.
And they have a very strong relationship that will last 15 years.
But you do control Aiden.
You control Aiden. Actually, in the game, you control Jodie.
Yeah.
And at any point, you can press a button and switch to this entity. And now you control the entity, and you can fly around. You're invisible. You can go through walls. You can interact with matter in different ways. And all the idea is that you need to make these two characters collaborate. And in different scenes, you may want an entity that is very nice to Jodie, or you may decide that the entity should behave differently to her, which will change the story.
And what did you think about this entity as you were filming? I mean, are you generally a fan of horror stories or not? Or
horror?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, not, sort of. It can't be too scary.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because then I will have bad dreams. I'm a bit of a wuss with stuff like that, which is funny because I make movies and like I could just be like, Ellen, there's a boom over that person's head,
right.
But I'm not very good at that.
Yeah.
What did I think of the entity? I mean, that was one of the, it's one of the fascinating, beautiful parts of the story. And obviously I know in greater detail than anyone else can know about the entity. And it's so I'm going to leave it at that. So it's it's hard to talk about because of that. But as an actor, it's interesting because you're communicating with something that there's scenes. It's okay to say there's scenes with. So there's scenes where she is having long conversations with this thing that you can't see and you can't hear the responses. So I'm just talking to thin air and sort of like in this scene you saw where she tries to kill herself and Aiden's preventing it. And so stuff like that was obviously a challenge. You're sort of working with no response, but sometimes having a full-blown conversation.
And it's interesting because when I played it, one of the interesting things you do to try to control Aiden, the entity, is that you have to move these dots together to use his force to push your enemy away or move through a wall or something like that. And I think it's key for people to know that there are some cool gameplay mechanics involved.
Oh, yeah. Sometimes when we talk about storytelling in games, people think that, it's going to be a long movie and I'm going to press one button every 20 minutes and that's going to be very boring. And actually, it's not the case. The game is fully interactive. So everything you saw here, and most people who saw it, it's very difficult to understand when you play and when you watch, but actually you play all the time. Everything is pretty much interactive, so that was absolutely essential to us. I would like also to mention the fact that although there is an entity, it's not a horror game or paranormal. It's not really the theme behind the game. It's really about people. And yes, there is this paranormal element, but it's not about that. I
guess I'm a wuss because I was scared when I was playing there. So we're going to soon open this up to questions from the audience. But first, kind of a serious question, David. The world of video games has always changed, but it's in a kind of interesting changing mode now due to games that are free to play on Facebook and iPad and iPhone games that are fairly inexpensive as well. And knowing that, can you explain why Beyond Two Souls is worth the price of admission as a console game?
Yeah, I think it's a good question. As you said, we live in a world where you can find very cheap games, but I think there are very different experiences. So with Beyond, we try to create an extraordinary experience in all possible ways. We got extraordinary talents. We try to create something that is really strong, that is visually as appealing as possible. And this is not the kind of experience that you can find on a tablet or on an iPhone. So I think the same way television didn't kill theaters, although most television is free, people still go to theaters to watch films because it's a different experience. I think we will still see the two models working together, console games and free or cheaper games.
So now, folks, if you would like to make your way forward, we will let you ask some questions of this esteemed panel. People are lining up en masse. So are the mics on? Should we start on our right here? Give it a shot.
Is it on? Hello?
It's not on yet.
Check. Hello?
Let's try the left. Is that on?
No, here we go.
Okay, yeah, okay.
My question's for Mr. Cage. I'm a video game and film composer. Yes. And I'm just curious on your take on the role of music in games and how that has evolved and how that will continue to evolve, and specifically in your games as well.
We're used to say that sound is 50% of the image. I mean, if you have a good sound, it can make an image even more interesting or appealing or just beautiful. So it's something very, very important. We start working very early on. The more it goes, the more we work with film composers We worked in the past with a composer called Norman Corbel, who was a Canadian composer. He worked on the music of Heavy Rain. He was an amazing composer. Unfortunately, he died a couple of months ago. He was supposed to work on Beyond, but it was not possible. But yeah, we work with these composers. They are incredibly talented, and they bring an emotional dimension to the experience that is absolutely essential to me.
Thank you. Can't wait to play it.
Thank you.
We still go on this side now.
All right, to Mr. Cage. I was just going to ask, looking at all this footage, as Ellen would say, we've clearly gone beyond Crash Bandicoot in terms of experiences, but one of the things I wonder is, does a game like this almost transcend the concept of playing? Like, what would you define playing as in this context?
Well, for me, interacting is about making choices and seeing their consequences. So I'm all against the tendency in our industry to define interacting by shooting. If you don't shoot at someone, if you don't destroy something, then it's not a game and you don't interact. I totally disagree with that. I thought that in some scenes in Heavy Rain where you were just turning on or off the light in the house where your kid was, it was interacting and it had consequences and it was a part of the experience. So I don't know if we transcend the concept of interactivity, but definitely we want to give it a different meaning. You don't need a gun to interact. That's my belief.
Let's do one more on the left.
Good evening. My question is for the actors. I'd like to know how your preparation for the roles in Beyond were different than from other acting jobs you've had.
I would say the most challenging thing is just the amount of memorization you have to do because of the amount of, and typically I don't have that much of an issue with it, but on this, on a film, like on the movie I'm shooting right now, it's like a big movie, so you shoot like a page or less a day, and then on maybe like a movie like The East, you shoot more like 4 or 5 pages a day. On this, we would do 30 to 40 pages a day. But also, the scenes that you're doing aren't a fully cohesive narrative because there's so many different options and responses, and so no matter what the emotional intensity of what you're doing is in the scene, you're not shooting those things separately. So it's like you say something, be the other thing, be the other thing, and sort of that pivoting. First of all, remembering everything, and then pivoting with all of that kind of emotion and direction is really challenging. But such an amazing opportunity as an actor to have that exercise, because when would you ever get the opportunity for something like that? But the fact that it's just like, a non-stop on a set, you wait for the camera to turn around, you change locations, all of these things. And you're in that space and you just go.
Yeah, she had the hardest job by far. My preparation was, I know my scene, I come, and it was almost just like a film. But I could feel for her because she had to flip it. She had to say yes one time and then no next time and then maybe the next time and then next scene. Yes one time and then no it. And I was like, wow, baby. You got it bad. But for us, since we weren't the playable characters, it was, we were supportive. We were the more support team. So I came to work. I did my part. I made sure I was there for her emotionally every time, and him and Willem, and then that was it, and I got to go home.
Thank you.
And Eric, too. I speak for Eric.
Can we go over here?
I thought that last clip was great. I thought that was a great scene. My question is just as a storyteller, though, if I remember correctly, in the clip, and when we were watching it during the movie, there was an option whether you jumped or not. Is there a concern as a storyteller that you would be missing these like mini climaxes if somebody was a wuss and decided not to jump?
Yeah, that's always the difficult decision you have to make as a writer. You write these little moments, you make them interactive, which means that the player can see them or miss them. And you want to make sure that no matter what path the player chooses, he got a consistent experience, an emotional experience that says what you want the scene to say. And sometimes it's a pity to say, oh, you know what, some players will miss this part. But at the same time, you're so happy for the people who will see it that you say it's even better that way. Yeah. It's a privilege. It's the people who made the right choices will get the best parts.
And one more. We only have time, unfortunately, for one more question, so we'll go here.
The question is for Ellen. There were two things that struck me about your performance. One was the extreme sort of physical nature of it, the amount of physicality involved, and the other was the little singing portion. My question is, how did you prepare for the physical aspect, and is singing something that you want to do more of in film?
That's actually a really, really good question, because one thing that's really important to know is, other than like the acting and like the very performance-based stuff, there are other really incredible people who did so much of the work. So all the fighting and the physical things that didn't involve me, because this is, they shot, how long did you shoot motion capture for?
12 months.
Right. So other than like, the acting and that sort of interactive level of it, all the physical stuff was by, incredible stunt people that did amazing, amazing things. Not to say I don't do any of it, but I wish I could do more. That would be really, really fun. I really like that kind of thing, whether it's in a film or whatever. But, and then wait, what was the singing question? No, I'm not, that's about the extent of my guitar skills. I'm really not good at guitar. And, pardon? I did sing in Juno. It's a 2-chord song. It's pretty easy. I wish I was a talented musician, but I just do it kind of for myself.
Well, thanks to everyone. Thanks to the panel. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much to the audience and everyone who's watched on the internet. And I wish really we had another hour to talk, but we can't. So I hope you got at least a little bit of knowledge about Beyond Two Souls. And thanks so much for letting me speak about it.